Hey guys, how y'all doing? So today I want to review a fragrance that flies under the radar a little bit, at least nowadays. And I know in the past, there's been some hype about it, but I think this is a fragrance that is not very easy for most people. And it's Narciso Rodriguez's For Him, the original Narciso Rodriguez. We'll go through this, the presentation and smell and everything, but I want to say off the bat, I think it's a challenging fragrance. I don't know what other people think in terms of wearability, but I think it's a challenging fragrance. It's got certain notes that not everyone will fall in love with, but if you do like the vibe that this gives off, I think that this is artistically a very, very nice, top-notch creation. The house intrigued me because they seem to have a lot of fragrances that are really musk heavy and unique if you look at their notes. So, I was looking into the house, and what really pushed me over the edge in getting this one, the original, I have a decant as well of Blue Noir, which I didn't really love, and maybe later I'll do a comparison, but I wanted to get the original because I saw the perfumer was Francis Kurkdjian, right? Yeah, so anything by Francis Kurkdjian is at least worth sampling or exploring. I think that this fragrance right now is discontinued, but it is still widely available in the gray market. I got mine on Fragrance.net, and it runs about $40–50 for the 100 ml. So if you have any interest in getting this fragrance eventually, maybe you want to just pick it up now just to be safe so that you have it in case it does go out of stock. All right, so let's start with the presentation. One thing I noticed right away was how heavy this box is. And when you open it up, sorry, where I'm filming right now, the lighting's not so great, so not ideal for presentation, but what from pictures what this looks like. But I'll point out a few things, right? So I want to point out this cap here, very like Lego-like, very light plastic. It feels a little bit cheap, but the rest of the bottle is really nice. It's a very, very heavy glass bottle with the gray sort of tint, so you can't see the juice inside. But it's probably one of the heaviest bottles in the designer game I've handled. This is, it's similar to Lalique's Encre Noire line in terms of the glass, thickness of the glass. So I think it's a really nice bottle just to, that feels really premium. So it's nice. The sprayer is nice as well. So on to, what this smells like. Before I bought it, I was reading that a lot of people were comparing this scent to like wet concrete, right? Wet concrete. And that sounds not so pleasant. But for me, I do like sort of earthy scents. I like dark fragrances as well as fresh ones, but I like dark fragrances. So I knew that wasn't a reason not to get it. But I was intrigued, I was curious what they meant by wet concrete. And after having smelled it for a while, I see what that, is what they're trying to say, what people are trying to say. I see that resemblance. This fragrance, it only has 4 notes listed. Of course, there are probably additional materials, but only 4 notes are listed. It's violet leaf, musk, and patchouli and amber, right? So those 4 notes. So keep those in mind. Because it's a very nice blend of all those, and you do detect elements from all those notes. I will say this is a very violet leaf dominant scent. That's the first thing I picked up. Even if I hadn't read the notes, it would have been that easy to pick up. It's so prominent. Now, violet leaf, if you're not familiar, is a note. It's an interesting note. It's one that I personally like, but I think that it can be off-putting to some people, and it gives off different vibes depending on what it's mixed with. But let's think about some violet leaf dominant fragrances. So you have something like Fahrenheit, Dior's Fahrenheit. I think that the violet leaf here, again, very prominent, very detectable, but this has more, it combines that with a leather accord, right? And then you have, oddly enough, Burberry Touch actually has a strong violet leaf note as well, but this one is done in a very fresh, clean, linen-like kind of way. And some people say this smells a bit like baby powder. It's really nice. It's really pleasant, very easy to wear. But you see how, you can have very different overall smells, right? Even with a prominent violet leaf note. Here you've got violet leaf and musk and patchouli and amber, right? Violet leaf, first of all, is known to give off like a cucumber-like ozonic quality, and you definitely get that. And I always say about Dior Fahrenheit, when I first smelled it, it was during the summer, and I thought, wow, this is a great summer scent because of how ozonic it was, right? On first sniff, I fell in love with it because of how fresh and it just was ozonic in like no other fragrance, in a different way. Nothing abrasive, just very refreshing, clean. Although the dry down, it becomes leathery and very dry. Now this fragrance, it has a similar feel, but it is the patchouli, the amber, overall, this is an earthy kind of scent. So before we even talk more about the smell, if you like scents like Fahrenheit, and if you like green Irish tweed, those kinds of scents, I know they're different, but Fahrenheit, it has the violet leaf element of Fahrenheit, but it's not leathery. But then it has this earthiness and sort of bitter quality that something like green Irish tweed has. If you like those scents, you may like this. And I say you may. You still might not like this. Again, artistic quality-wise, 10 out of 10, right? Very well blended and very unique. Not for everyone. And I think it's less crowd-pleasing than Encre Noire. Something like Encre Noire, which is another one that's earthy, unique, and simplistic in the notes, right? This one, so it's a very musky fragrance. It has a bit of a powdery feel as well, especially in the dry down. The opening, it's fresh. You get the violet leaf, and I don't know what else is there, but it does have a fresher quality than the dry down, and the opening is quite pleasant. But then very quickly, within a minute or two, you lose the freshness, and then it becomes more of a powdery scent with still that a little bit of sweetness, which I guess is from the amber note, but it's a bit funky because of that amber sweetness is mixed with this cucumber-like freshness, right? And so it's a little bit of it gives me a little bit of a funk, right? And that's why I compare it to green Irish tweed, which has that ambergris, mixed in with the lemon up top, which at first, it can also have a similarly bitter, funky smell because of that ambergris, along with mixed in with the other notes. This is similar in that sense. To me, it gives off that weird combination, gives off at times a little bit of a rubbery Play-Doh-like, feel or smell. And I guess that's where people are comparing this to wet concrete, right? It has a rubbery quality about it, and this is what happens when you mix violet leaf with certain other notes. And I think here it's the muskiness, really kind of, it has a bit of a, it's powdery, but a bit of a stuffy feel, right? And I do prefer Fahrenheit because I think the leather accord goes better with the note of violet leaf. So it has, in Fahrenheit, you get that, ozonic opening, very fresh, and then you get the leather and overall very dry feel, and it all goes hand in hand. But here you get, the musk, the powder with the cucumber, right, is an odd blend. It's an odd blend, but it's interesting, right? And it's really like nothing else, and definitely worth sampling. And I do, there's definitely a cult following for this fragrance, right? So for good reason. It's highly unique. But I also get overall from these 4 notes, right? And again, we're concentrating on these 4 notes. They're the only notes we have to work with, but that's really the focus of this fragrance. The other thing I get is a little bit of a floral vibe as well. And again, from the violet leaf, which can have many facets, not just the cucumber-like feel. It has a little bit of a leafiness as well. So overall, I do have to say, I mean, if you're a collector and you want like a unique piece that you want to smell once in a while and that you want to reference and you want to learn from, I think this is a good one, right? It's like a fragrance where taking just 4 dominant notes, violet leaf, musk, patchouli, and amber, you create something that's very well blended and very unique and nothing like anything on the market. And it has a resemblance to things like Fahrenheit and Green Irish Tweed. And I think the best way to describe this scent is sort of a blend of Fahrenheit and Green Irish Tweed, right? So it comes across as, initially, it has a bit of a cucumber-like freshness, but also a bitter feel and a bit of a leafy feel as well, and an earthy element. And, Fahrenheit and this diverge, and that Fahrenheit goes in a leathery direction. This one goes in a very musky direction and a bit powdery, right? So to me, it's nice, but a little bit stuffy and has a little bit of that rubbery feel or Play-Doh-like feel because of the musk-heavy quality that mixed in with the cucumber note. I guess violet leaf note. A very interesting one, and for the money, it's not bad. It's not bad. I just think that it's a challenging fragrance to like, more challenging than Green Irish Tweed, more challenging than Encre Noir. It's the violet leaf, right? And as long as you like the note of violet leaf and appreciate it, you will like this fragrance and you'll like having it in your collection. Yes, so guys, let me know what you think about this fragrance, all right? And I'll see you next time.